receive long-term support services. And we're going to go through the benefits and considerations of a bunch of them. First is agency-based rotational staffing. That means that you have different people coming in and out of your home at different times, exactly when you need them. An agency-based rotational staffing means that you are hiring an agency who is going to recruit, train, hire, schedule, and fire staff to meet your needs. This is really helpful if you find an agency that you really like, that understands your support needs and your lifestyle preferences. But you don't necessarily have as much control because you might not be able to choose exactly who is in your home. And if someone cancels, they might bring someone to your home that maybe you haven't spent a lot of time with. If you want more control over exactly who is going to be in your home, then you might consider self-directed support. In self-directed support, you're responsible for finding staff, training staff, hiring, scheduling, and firing staff. You have as much support and control as you want. Of course, you can work with a natural support system to be able to help identify whether it's family members, someone from your faith community, a friend. You can hire anybody you want, and you get to set their pay scale. But it's a lot of responsibility because if someone doesn't show up or someone's sick, it's your responsibility to find coverage for that day. If you don't necessarily want different people coming in and out of your home at different times of the day, maybe you prefer to have someone living with you. And there are two types of models for live-in support staff. The first model is provider-controlled, and that's in a host home arrangement where you move in to the host home provider's home. It's a very family-like environment. You become part of their household. It's the same person day in, day out. You wake up, they're going to be there. They know your schedule. They're going to medical appointments with you. It's a very intimate experience. You could also have the same similar service delivery model, but in a consumer-controlled setting. And that's called shared living, where you actually have the same control over the home as the person who's paid to support you. In a host home arrangement, if the host home provider needs to bring in another family member, or if you no longer like your host home provider, you're going to have to move. Where in a shared living arrangement, you're sharing the home with someone, and so you can choose to not be roommates anymore, and that person could leave versus you leaving because you have equal say in the lease. You can also think about using remote support. Remote support is when you use technology to provide that assistance. And so it's almost as if you need help, there's this video screen and a two-way audio and video. And you can say, hey, I just dropped a gallon of milk. And someone's gonna pop up on that screen, they're gonna know who you are, and they're gonna say, oh, here, let me help you, let me talk you through the steps. Or maybe you forget what time you're supposed to take a certain medication, or what time or where you're supposed to be that day. You can ask your remote support provider to provide that support. And it doesn't require a human being to be in your home. For some people, that might not be personal enough. Maybe they want to have that in-person support. You can also think about a paid neighbor. So in some communities, you can actually have a neighbor who is paid to support you. It's almost like having on-call assistance. So maybe that's overnight, there's a neighbor that is paid to be there for you. Or in certain times of the day, there's a neighbor that's going to be paid to provide support to you. And maybe others who live in the neighborhood with you. It's also important to think about, well, maybe I don't need day-to-day support for the rest of my life. Some people who are ineligible for waivers, being able to go to a residential transition program could be a great service delivery model that is temporary. And so you actually would be going to the residential transition program in order to learn the life skills necessary so that when you're finished with the 3 to 5 year program, you actually might not need long-term support services on a day-to-day basis. And so there's a lot of different service delivery models. Think about the benefits and considerations and decide what you think is going to work best for you in your day-to-day life.